Oh my god. I hit the go live button and nothing happened. I've been talking to no one for the last 10 minutes. What a shit show. Fuck, I hate the internet. Are we actually fucking live this time? I hope so. Every time I update OBS, it does something fucking retarded. So yeah, now you've got to hit the go live button twice. It didn't register the first time I pressed it. Anyway, how are we all? What's going on? Sorry, I wasn't late. I was like on time, and I've been live for 15 minutes. But I thought I was live, but OBS is a pile of shit. Anyway, how are we all? What's going on? It was really weird because I was like, why is there no chat? Why is there no one talking, saying anything? It's like I was just talking into the void, and I was. Stupid bloody program. See, it's saying I was live for 20 minutes. Anyway. So, I've changed the camera angle a little bit. And the reason for that is because when I had the camera up on the shelf up there, it's down under the shelf now. Whenever I'm working on more intricate stuff, you just get to see the top of my head. So I put it down more face level because I'm working on some smaller stuff as well as doing some paperwork today, which is a necessary evil. Got to send off some quotes and estimates and invoices. Could do that at the office computer, but I've got to assess some stuff as well. So, remnants of yesterday's late night work. Got a Marshall JMP one here from my mate Mick. He brought another one in for service. I did a general service and clean to that one. Had a dodgy pot, just a lot of dirty jacks, that kind of thing, switches, just crackly. One of the valve sockets was coming and going, so I cleaned and retensioned them, but I've never had one of these on the bench before, and I'm quite impressed by the build quality. They are really good. I used to own a Triaxis, and after looking at a few of them and doing some basic repairs on some of them, what a shit show. These are so much simpler. All one board, very, very well thought out. Yeah, great amps, or preamps. But this one, you may have noticed, is missing something. So, apparently quite a common failure on these is the transformers fail. So this was drawing about 50 watts as soon as you turned it on. And, well, not as soon as you turned it on. Oh, yeah, more or less, as soon as you turned it on. Drew up a little bit more after that as it tried to power the valves. But, essentially what's happened is I lifted the components which link the secondary to the rest of the circuit. And she was still drawing the same amount of current. I lifted the two diodes there, two resistors, couldn't lift the, I think it was the HT circuit, so I ended up removing the bridge that it went to. So essentially the whole secondary was disconnected, and it was still drawing the same amount of current. Now I probably could have told that without testing just by looking at the side of the transformer, but I didn't notice that until I removed it. So the deal with these is this amp's been out of production for a pretty long time. So these transformers, it's unlikely you're going to find a new one, but even if you did find a new one, it's sort of the same quality as the original, which likes to fail. So this particular one has a shorted turn, or a overheated shorted coil on one side of the bipolar supply, the plus minus 15 volt rail. And you can see right there, that one's overheated, and that's that side. So the rest of them are probably fine. It's just that one's melted its insulation, and one side's measuring about 15 ohms, the other side's measuring about 1.5 ohms. So, yeah. They either have to rewind it or replace it. But there is a bloke in the UK that makes them. Replacements, upgraded. Is found out whoever makes these housings and the... so essentially they'd have a generic housing like this and you can wind it to whatever specs are allowed by that size core and housing. So he's found whoever manufactures these housings and he's spec'd out a transformer and he does batch orders of them. But I looked at his website. They're not cheap, but he knows what he's got and he knows that it's a pain in the ass to reverse engineer this thing and get new ones made. So he's charging accordingly. But generally, this would be like a 15-20 volt transformer if you're ordering him like generic voltages. But yeah, we're talking like $500 shipped. Fucking. So the problem is that he's got pre-orders only. So it's a bit like when I was, before my boards were fully tested, ready for shipping, I'd have a pre-order button there, and if you wanted to get in the queue to get the first ones off the production line, then you put in your pre-order, you pay in full, and then you wait an unspecified amount of time, and eventually the transformer turns up. So I guess I'll have to do that. I got the okay off Mick to get one on order, because he's got one unit, his main unit, which, as I say, we just did a service to, and then this one died on a gig. Always when things like that happen, they're like, oh, what did I do wrong? Like, is there something, what causes that? What causes that's essentially the transformer being a bit under-spec'd. It's quite common on these. Apparently, like I say, I haven't seen many of these before, or any. This is the second one. I've known their existence. I've played with them, like played guitar through them, but I haven't cracked it open and analysed how it works and stuff, which we'll do momentarily. But what was I saying? Yeah, so he's got his main one. Well, this was his main one, and he had his other backup one, which he purchased recently as a backup. He's transferring all his settings over, and if one goes down on a gig, he can just plug this one in. All his settings are matched up, and away he goes. So he picked up the other one. He's using that for now, and we'll get this one purring again and reliable, so we can use it as a backup, or vice versa. Maybe once we've got the upgraded transformer, it'd be a better idea to use this as his main one and use the other one only when he has to. That way the stock transformer has an easier life without having to rewind the bastard. I mean, rewinding's an option too. How would you get this shit out? So there must be on bobbins in there. Mary bobbins. But yeah, it's a bit fiddly being such a small transformer. So I don't know if Alex's meat hooks would be able to, work on one of these. At least enjoying it anyway. So I got the OK off him. We'll get one on order. I'll grab some clams off him to get that ordered. And we'll just wait and see when it comes in, eh? Maybe order 2 transformers. I have that one rewound. Yeah, problem is they're like $500 each, Bazza. Shipped. $1,000 worth of transformers for these pissy little things. These things would be worth, if this was like a 12 volt transformer or something, say it was plus, or like 12 and 12, like your generic plus minus 12 or 15 volt or whatever, it'd be like a 15-20 volt transformer. But because it's got these custom windings on it to suit this, with an HT winding as well, you got 3 windings on there. You got low voltage for the heaters, you got high voltage for the valves, and you've also got the plus minus 15 volts. The low voltage supplies the, actually, you know what, the low voltage is the 5 volts for the processor. It draws the 12 volts from one of the 15 volt rails, I believe. So that's probably the one that's failed, because it's drawing the heater voltage from it as well. That's probably what's happened. Let's have a look at the schematic and find out, shall we? JMP 1_2. So yeah, they're probably pulling the heater voltage from one of the 15 volt rails. How many regulators have we got? We've got 2 5 volt regulators. And we've got our plus minus 15 volt. 7815, 7915. So where are they getting the heater voltage from? So that's your HT, that's your plus minus 15. Digital, let me just find another one. I'll just open all the files, why not? Oh, come on. Doesn't want me clicking on the, Why doesn't it want to open... Why doesn't it want to open Adobe? There we go. Fucking never seen that before. Valves, where are they? There's one. Does it show where it gets the heater voltage from? No. Incomplete schematic. So, yeah, I'll run you through the... I already said all this shit before the stream went live. Man, that's so disheartening when you do something and life just sticks its finger up your ass and then you got to fucking do it again because you're an idiot. It just shows the HT there, which makes sense, but 12 volt unregulated. Okay, so how was it pulling to? Oh, okay, so that's a higher voltage. All right, so no, that's wrong because one of these 15 volt rails is the one that went down. Not sure which, but I checked the bridge and it's not shorted. So yeah, the the heater draws from the processor supply, the digital supply, because you can see the 7805 there. Plus 5 to P5C3. What? Digital ground. Okay, so it's got two 7805s there. I wonder what's VDS mean. I don't know. They've got two supplies there, so maybe something's generating a bit of hash that they don't want in the other rail or something. I don't know. I don't have time to analyze it, but yeah. So that theory isn't right because one of these rails, one of these sides has shorter turns, not the low tension. And it's not a short because both of these are within spec still, and they're fusible resistors, so I think it's just an underpowered under spec transformer. There's quite a bit hanging off those 15 volt rails, so let's have a look. Anyway, we'll get one of them on order, but back to this thing. So the tri-axis, I can't remember what I've said and what I haven't said before. The tri-axis, which I've owned before, it was so convoluted to do pretty much the same thing as this. It used like LDRs and stuff to try and simulate pots, which sort of kind of worked. But this uses, like, because think about it. How do you go from the brain box over here? So you've got your processor. So here's the computer, essentially. You've got your processor. You've got your EEPROM, which stores essentially the operating system. It is just two LED segments, but it's still an operating system. And you've got your SD RAM or whatever it is over here. And that stores like your user presets and like when you save your settings and whatever. And this stores the operating system. And then over here, because the SD RAM is needs a little trickle of voltage to stop it from losing its mind, from forgetting everything. It's got this battery over here which just biases that so it doesn't lose its memory. Did you did you test the transformer on the bench or remove the bridge? I did both. And then over here's the processor. And then you've got your clock over here. You've got your crystal, which determines the operating frequency of the processor. I think, without looking up the digital logic, this is probably addressing either the EEPROM or the SD RAM using the same bus. So it switches between this one and that one, depending on what it needs. But how do you get all the ones and zeros over there to change the analog goodness over here? So that's the tricky part. What it does is it has some data buses going to these chips. Now this is what the Triaxis used LDRs for. In this case, they've used a consumer chip, a Toshiba TC Blurry TC9170AP. So this is from like your cheesy 80s and 90s hi-fi gear, where you had your little equalizer in there with your settings plus minus 1 to 6 or whatever. And this is sold as a digital, or it's like a digitally controlled equalizer chip, but it's not an equalizer. It's part of an equalizer circuit. So it's the part that simulates the potentiometers that you'd find in a gyrator-based equalizer circuit, but you still need that gyrator-based equalizer circuit. So it's no, it's not a VCA. It's like a digital potentiometer. So these are spaced throughout the amp to change all your different parameters. So you see there's 2 there, 3 there. That's probably the EQ and like the output stage, the master, maybe the effects loop. And you've got one up the front end as well. That's probably your input gain and maybe your channel volume, that kind of thing. So they're spaced throughout the amp, and they change this, like the settings, I guess, of the preamp, which is all analog. You got some valves here, primarily marketing valves. Most of the stuff happening in here is solid state, but I think it sounds good. It does the Marshall thing. It's built a lot more robustly than the Triaxis. Those chips are still obsolete, but there are some floating around in the second-hand market. But it's really well built. It's very simple, and the schematics out there. Through-hole plated, double-sided PCBs, nice quality board, and everything's really well thought out. So I like this. I like these things. They're good. They pass Brad's tick of approval. I know people think that nothing passes Brad's tick of approval, but they're the ones that don't really watch the channel, so we don't really give a fuck what they think, do we? So yeah, we'll give it a clean up once the transformer comes in and get it back together. Yeah, it's a bit of a shame about those transformers, but so essentially I ran it up on the bench, and like I said, with nothing attached to the secondary at all, the transformer itself was drawing like 50 watts. So no es bueno. Yeah, them combined with the effects unit as well, and the 8080 or the whatever the 40 watt one was. Quite a formidable lightweight rig. I know you can get like pedal babies and shit these days that are half the size, but if you want MIDI functionality, if you've got a set with some like a band set with some, you know, more detailed sort of tones, like say you're in a cover band, you got to do like the thing at the start of the stupid Green Day song, you got to do chorus in this song like you're doing the Pretenders or something in the next song. You can set all that shit to banks, and you can change the bank per set and the patch per song, that kind of thing. You can like program your whole set. Of course, you're fucked if someone requests a song and the rest of the band say yes, but you know, you can go back to your bank one in that case, and that's just your basic meat and potatoes tones, that kind of thing. So that was stuff that I used to do when I played covers and shit. I had a G Major 2 rack processor and a Triaxis, and I had the two synced up via a one of the I think it was like a Roland or Boss foot controller pedal. It just went up through the banks, and yeah, did the job. Got all the weird tones. Damn it, I'm out of coffee again. That's sometimes the first one just doesn't hit the spot, doesn't touch the sides. Anyway, we'll carefully pack this away and wait the 6 months for the replacement transformer to turn up. I don't know, it could be quicker, but I'm not holding my breath, and I told my mate and customer not to either. Hopefully the one he's got behaves itself in the meantime. Sort of sit stuff, sort of kinda. And move on to the next. What do we have here? We've got a somewhat modified 2203 JTM look one, you know, with the front like that. JMP, sorry, not JTM, fuck. That's the shitbox amps. So, what was the report with this one? Did a few QSC repairs as well. Waiting on parts. Oh, I've got to waiting to order parts on them because there's a couple of them I've got to get parts for. Waiting for approval. Generally, if you get a bank of stuff in, it makes sense to try and get them all approved and order all the parts at once. Save on admin and shipping costs. Alright, 2203 JMP. Return to stock. Remove FX loop. Cold clipper mod. Okay, so that's go to lower resistance on the cold clipper for more saturation. Negative feedback depth mod. So preset depth. Reuse valves if test okay. So this one's been modified by an unknown quantity of people, and our job is to take it back to stock or close to it, and then do a couple of voicing changes. Wow, that's the first red flag. Fucking. Oh, other techs, man, other techs. It's a fucking metal screw, man. It's a tech screw. It's not a fucking wood screw. That doesn't bode well. This is the stuff you'd notice when you first take an amp apart, and straight away you're like, oh no, this isn't going to be fun. Oh, Yamaha SPX 990. 990? TCG major. I've got a G minor here, which is not a bad little choocher as well. There's a bulk load of effects. I bought for like $100 or something for a bunch of them. Some of them were fucked, others were recoverable, some not. But TC Electronic G sharp, sorry, G sharp. Oh. So this is a great little. Fuck, that's hot. It's hot from the sun. Feels like it's been turned on for a day. These great little units if you just want no digital menus, everything's just on the front panel. You know, you still save everything, it's still programmable, but once you turn the knob, your preset for that knob goes out the window. So yeah, it's just simple, you know, choose the effect you want, choose the reverb you want, and away you go. So yeah, I like those things there. Good to adjust on the fly. Right, so having a look at the back, I can already see some switches and shit drilled, and voltage selector, like knobby things gone. So the problem with the camera angle this height means my head gets chopped off when I'm standing up. Can't win them all, champions. Unless I put the gimbal there, because that tracks my face and moves around. Moves around to follow me, which is a bit creepy. I feel like it's about to shoot you. Ooh, very rattly valves. Rattly. Alright, so we've got our usual layer of shmoo. We've got F&T replacement caps, which is good. They're my go-to. Sovtech EL34s, which are rattly as hell. Wait a minute. What do we have here? Notice the spacing there. We've got an extra preamp valve, or an extra something valve. Looks like original iron. Oh man, look at the fuse holders. I've never seen them that reamed out before. Probably can't show you with the small bench. Let me move the hot air gun out of the way. Wow. There's like no slot to speak of anymore. And what the fuck has happened here? It's like melted. It's melted and it's got scratches all around it, and this is the wrong way around. So how'd that happen? I thought the one pin was bigger than the other. Let's get my spin. Spin. Oop. The impedance selector set to 4 ohm. Okay, I'll just set that to 8 ohm for testing. Doesn't feel very, it only sort of gripped by the very last couple of millimeters when I pushed it in, so hopefully that's, this one has been juiced before. I see they sold for $80. Better be cheap filter caps. What filter caps are you talking about there, Admiral? Hey Brad, any tips on keeping old JMP1 unit in good working order? Regular wall voltage is 230 or 4 volts where I live. No. Like I say, that's the first one I've had in. Well, the first two I've had in. I guess the transformers are a weak spot, but you're probably not going to fix that no matter what you do. Hot from the sun. What sun? Yeah, it's gone away. But we had some sun this morning. I know because it blinded me on the drive in. Alex, how you going, legend? This has actually got replacement screws, which are number 2 Phillips. I think I saw a rig review for David Gilmour where he was using dual JMP ones in a backstage rack. And it makes sense for a band like Pink Floyd. So you've got all the different sort of tones, but you know, back in the day they went fine with just a... Why is there 2 extra holes drilled? Why for? What possible reason? It's like 2 extra holes drilled 10 mil further out. Wait a minute, the whole chassis off center. What? Unless this is an aftermarket cab. The vents in the top did look weird. Maybe it's an aftermarket cab. Well, yeah, it's too thick. That's like 19mm ply. The stock ones were like 13mm or something. Ah, okay, so it's non-standard cabinet. Yeah, because I noticed the 2 holes in the top I haven't seen before. I don't know. I don't know. Ready? Are you ready, champions? Is it another horror show? You've seen it the first time as me. Yeah, not great. Alright. Holy fuck. Okay, I didn't notice that. Mid voice. So what used to be the master volume. So what is... Oh, he's got another pot over there that says master. Right, okay. So what used to be the master volume is now labelled as mid voice. I was joking around. Someone was saying the other day, oh, it's a stock Marshall. I go, what? There's such thing as a stock Marshall these days? Really? I thought they're all extinct. So we've got a whole bunch of silver micas. That's the dreaded SM brand as well. Stacked up with some film caps. So I don't know what exactly that's implementing. I'd have to draw it out, analyze it, and figure out what the hell's going on. Everywhere we looked is mods. However, the soldering is good. Whoever did this seemed to know what they were doing. So the mods are probably well performing, and whoever did them is competent, which is rare. Oh, okay, no, that's weird. I think they've just disconnected stuff and left it in place. You've got, I'm just looking over here. It's, I mean, there is competence, but there is some shit stuff as well. Like that doesn't even pass through the terminal. It's just stuck to the back of that terminal. People just think solder's like blue tack. You got a lot of burns and stuff everywhere, but you got the bleeder cap from that. Probably can just pull the lead out of the solder joint. Yeah, look. So yeah, some fucking tool. I just removed myself from all the Facebook amp groups because I try to dip my toe in the water again to try and post some stuff and help some people out. Post some tips and whatever, and maybe some layouts, and you just instantly get flamed. Like straight away people are like, oh, so you're a shotgunner, oh, you do this, you do that, why'd you just gut it? Why didn't you learn how to fucking diagnose amps? Don't you know how to do anything? It's like, motherfucker, I spend all day diagnosing amps. I do about the amount of amps you do in 1 year in 1 fucking day. But you can't say that stuff without sounding like a jerk off. So I just said, why am I trying to help people? Like, because every time you try to help them, you get flamed out by these guys that don't have a fucking clue what they're talking about. I'm just like, why am I doing this? It's such a waste of time. So I just removed myself from all the groups. You can figure it out yourself, dickheads, or come to my channel. Because he was saying like, oh, you're trying to bait me into watching your video. I said, no, the information's just on the video, and it's easier than typing it out. And he's like, I'm not watching your video. It's such a waste of time. You clearly don't know what you're doing. You're just a part swapper. I'm like, oh, fucking whatever, cunt. So yeah, I just removed myself from all the groups and forums and shit, and just, it's a waste of time. I'm in one of them where my mates are, and that's it. Fucking waste of time. If you want information, you can come here. If you want specific information, you can send me an email and I can ignore it. If you do want specific information, you can send me a super chat. Otherwise, fuck off. I'm too busy. So, carrying on. We've got some questionable stuff here too. We've got 1 ohm resistors on every valve, cathode, but then they're like bypassed. So you've got pin, oh wait, no, pin, yeah, so what's the point of having a resistor between pin 1 and 8 when you've got a wire bypassing the resistor. So the resistor's out of circuit. Oh, you fucker. Iris. So you got a resistor there, but then its leads wrap around and then they're soldered to each other, and then so the resistor's out of circuit. So you've just got ground on every cathode. Moving our way over, we've got tag strips over here, an extra valve socket, a bunch of stuff going on. Tap an HT from the neighbouring socket, which is the cathode follower. So it's tapping 100 ohm off the cathode follower node. So let's just trace this out in our head. So that's the master. So the master's coming from there. So it's got another gain stage after. What? Alright, so we've got a high sensitivity input from there. I only got one input because he's filled the other with the master. From that, let me get in continuity because I can't really see what's going on here. Now we're washed out because the camera's the camera. I don't know, whatever. Right, we're on beepy mode. Going from the input jack, we should be coming into that point there on that valve. He's disconnected one of the triodes, so we've added another. What the fuck? Hang on. Alright, now this is weird. What? Okay, so this is where I start to go, what the fuck? So, V1A is unused. There's nothing going to it. You can see right there. There's no terminals, nothing connected to the terminals. And then they've installed another socket over here. Don't worry, there's just chaos and death and destruction happening outside. They've installed another valve here, but they've only used one triode. So you've still got the same amount of triodes. But you've installed another valve? Unless a mod was installed and then taken out? I don't know, man. Alright, so we should have like 33k or something k to that. What's that resistor? The value is covered by heat shrink, something 3k. 47k. Oh yeah, 47k, I can see the purple under that. Alright, so straight from the input to V1B. From the output of V1B to to there. From there to the preamp volume. From the preamp volume to the cathode, well, the cold clipper. From the cold clipper to the cathode follower. From the cathode follower to the added valve. No, sorry. The cathode follower to there. From there I'm gonna sneeze. Where's my fucking webcam gone? Oh. There we go. Where's that go? No. From there to the tone stack, to the tone snacks. No? Oh no. From that to the mid voice. From the mid voice to the tone snack. And from the tone snack to the added triode. Via a 220k resistor? 220k grid stopper? What? From there, the added triode, which looks just like a conventional gain stage. So why's it got a gain stage after the cathode follow? Unless this mid voice thing is attenuating heaps. Yeah, I don't know. So from that point, we go to the master. Yep, from the master, where's that wire disappear to? From the master we go to the effects loop. From the effects loop we go to the 22 nano, which feeds the phase inverter. Yeah, weird. I don't know if you guys know, is this like a known mod? Removing a gain stage up the front and adding a gain stage after the tone stack? That's weird. Well, anyway, whatever it is, he doesn't like it because he wants it returned to stock. It was a Lee Jackson mod amp, but it looks like another tech messed with the amp at some point. Are you talking to me, Carl? It was a Lee Jackson mod amp. Who's Lee Jackson? Yeah, I'm feeling alright, Mark. I've just got a little bit of residual hay fever at the moment. Thanks to dusty ants. Hope you're doing well, mate. How'd you go with your surgery or surgery? You're up and cooking briskets again, but going off the messages you sent me, so you must be alright. Ah, Carl, he's talking to me. So do you know about this particular amp, Carl, or are you saying that that's what that mod is? I'm only just sitting on the edge of that chassis there. I'm going to stick the block under the transformer. Feel a bit safer that way. Lee Jackson used to sell VHS tapes on repairing and modding guitar amps. Right. Surgery is Monday. Oh, okay. I thought it was this week. Lee Jackson, that amp peg you rebuilt for me last year. Did he do that too? Or Lee? I don't know anything about Lee Jackson. You've worked on a Lee Jackson amp. Oh, so he's the designer. Right. I don't know who the fuck designers are. Alright, so this is a Lee Jackson mod. What is the aim of the mod? Oh, I missed a super chat. Thanks. I can organise it by fan funding. There we go. PEBCAC. I know what PEBCAC means. Hi Brad, I'm looking for a tech in Melbourne to work on my Deluxe Reverb reissue 65. I want to add a mids control plus improve the noise floor. Thanks. Well, I can put you on to Alex, or he can talk to you directly in the chat here, because Alex is here. He'd be more than capable of doing that. Serious is very serious. Serious amplificationage. I have the schematic. Oh, thanks, Carl. Can you flick it to me in an email? Or you're on. Are we Facebook friends? I don't know. Flick it to me on Facebook, or Just email info@bradsguitargarage.com.au. What was the yeah, selling VHS tapes was the main purpose. Yeah, so one of them. Okay, I gotta open the shop. One sec, champions. It's just on 9 o'clock. It's all dark and cool and foreboding, but it's got to be bright and cheery because customers. Why would you add a... I'm just trying to figure out why you'd add a gain stage after and take one out from in front. You're trying to get clean headroom out of a 2203? Like, isn't that sort of against the whole... I don't know. Oh, I gotta vacuum the shop. I didn't get so dusty here because the road's right out there and there's a quarry down the road. Shop music. The presets? Sure. Adrenal adenoma. Adeno, yeah. It's benign. Good to hear it's benign. You just got a little lump pet in your throat. It's alright. New email. Hello there. I'm writing to you because I've seen your awesome video on the YouTube about the JC77 repair. Unfortunately, in our country, Roland is not interested in repair. Well, of course they won't be. But I would like to use it furthermore. I'd like to ask your kind of advice. What kind of volume pot and input jacks replacement do you repair for your amp? I'll get back to you. I thought I specified it in the video. Getting a lot of people asking questions about a video that I specify in the video, like they haven't watched the whole thing. They've watched 5 minutes of the video and then they've just sent an email with questions about the video. V1 is supposed to be wide in there for the whole design. Okay, so for some reason they've removed V1A. That's weird. See your sessions with Jeff. Go have a session with Jeff. A tumour growing on my adrenal gland, Brad. Yeah, that's what I figured it meant. Like I say, it's good that it's benign. Alright, let's have a look at this Lee Jackson Marshall mod. Lee Jackson Marshall mod. Metaltronics, man, that's really close to Metatronics. No info. He's got an online store. Lee Jackson mod, Metropolis Forum. Uses a 4th preamp tube. It's pretty simple. He also changes a few values on the board. I fucking hate mods, man. Anyway, we've been tasked with removing all this shit, but I'd like to have a listen first, see what it sounds like. So we might carefully do that. Make sure the output stage is stable. They're referring to Armored Saint using the mod. I was just having a discussion about Armored Saint with my mate the other day. He's like, "Oh, have you heard this band that John Bush is in? So good." Yeah, he was in that band before Anthrax. And he's like, "Oh, really?" Yeah. But I haven't heard their latest stuff. I got to listen to what the latest Armored Saint stuff's like. Okay, they used to have his videos, but they've pulled them off YouTube. Don't know, champions. It's kind of a little bit irrelevant. Is it a real Lee Jackson, or is someone has done this mod? No idea. Yeah, I'm confused about a Lee Jackson mod because I want to know exactly what it is. I'm kind of sick of these mods being referred to by someone's name and then having no definitive, trustworthy way of defining exactly what that mod is, other than the secret source by that fucking person themselves. So they're like, "Do a Lee Jackson mod." I'm like, what the fuck? No, go away. Go get the amp go buy an amp that sounds like what you want it to sound like. Yeah, they're not documented. Yeah, it's just a arbitrary shit show. Modding shit. It's just, I don't know. Like, I get the basic mods, like, but redesigning a whole preamp and the architecture of something and drilling extra holes and stuff, particularly in this amp, like a 2203, like, I don't know. But yeah, everyone did it. It was the fashion. Like wearing an onion on your belt, you know. Do we need to call Jason? Ah, here he is. So, yeah, you might have to rewind back to the start, but Wayback Machine, yeah, it could be on that. So essentially, this is had the V1A removed. It's only got the higher gain input, or it's only got, sorry, I should say it's only got one input. It's on the high sensitivity position, but I don't know what sensitivity it is. So V1A is depopulated. There's nothing connected to the socket. V1B is your input stage. Then it goes from there to your usual cold clipper with some value changes. Got a 220k there, bypassed with a 1 nanofarad. So I guess that's the damp oscillation. Goes to the cold clipper, goes to the cathode follower, goes to the tone snack. Then it goes to an extra gain stage after the tone stack, and then from that it goes to the master, and from the master it goes to the effects loop, which is a Metropolis ZL FX Rev 4 2015 dated, and then from there it goes to the phase inverter. But this customer wants it all returned to stock, just to be a standard 2203 with some slight mods to the cold clipper and what else was it? The cold clipper and preset depth in the effects loop. You know, usual stuff. Pretty close to a 2203, just juiced up a bit. So I think we know what we need to know for that. I might take a few photos. I wish I had my other camera with me, but I'll have to resort to my phone. He doesn't want the effects loop. I did ask him that. So what I might do is knock a bit off the price, and I'll yoink that effects loop and put it in my Dirty Shirley. They have a rotary switch for the treble cap. It's called a mid voice. As for the treble cap, yeah, I'd have to draw out what's on there. It's on a rotary switch. There's I think they're changing two caps at once. I'll have to draw it out. It's got two parallel resistors to ground as well, so it's attenuating at that stage. Yeah, whole bunch of stuff going on. Do you want to have a listen, champions? Do you want to have a listen? Did this amp come from Melbourne? I recognise the purple cable tie. It's not mine. No idea where it came from. I could ask, but I'll be listening while driving, legends. You just drive carefully, Lyle. Watch out for that bloke up on the left. I think he's drunk. Let's fire it up and have a listen, eh? If my mic stand wants to fucking behave itself. Found this in my toolbox the other day. It looks badass, doesn't it? It's a 6 kilovolt probe. For the Fluke. It's actually a Fluke 80K-6. So you can measure up to 6 kilovolts with it. Still not enough for a microwave oven. Yeah, I've been tasked with yoinking it all out, but let's hear it first to see what all the fuss is about. All this modded stuff. Must sound amazing, right? Actually, you know what? I've got my 2x12 over here. Let's fire that up. It's got the Veteran 30 and the ET65 in it, instead of the G12T75 under the bench that you normally hear, which doesn't sound great, but that sort of shows up any impoliteness on the amplifier's behalf. Oh, I've got fucking cables everywhere. Reverb tank cable. I found my Fluke high volt probe when my house shop flooded. Or it just floated to the top because it's hollow. That's pretty cool. Oh, get up there, you fucking... Okay, I don't need that cable. All this Hakko shit's getting in my way. Any tornadoes over there today? Found some tips for my, remember that desoldering station I was cleaning up in the last live stream? Found a bunch of tips online, genuine. So I ordered a few of them because they're obsolete, they're worth fuck all now. You'd think things can go one of two ways. They can either be worth heaps now because they're obsolete and you can't get them anywhere, so you're sort of screwed. Or well, they can't get rid of them because no one's using them anymore, so they just sell them for cheap. They're like $8 each or something in the Hakko wrapper. Set that 16 ohms. It feels like it's barely holding on, man. I don't trust that at all. And that's... No, I don't trust that on 16. We'd have to take that thing apart and retension it. It's not even holding in there at 16. It's just flopping around. We'll set it to 8 ohms. We just won't crank it too much. Even the 8 ohms feels shit, but... Tell you what, I might just put a jumper lead in there, because that impedance selector's chooched its last. Bus wire would be nice. Clean up a bit. It's getting too messy up here. Sometimes you need to clean up a bit just to take stock of life, champions. Oh, there's my component leg spacer that I was blaming Michelle for losing last time. It was under the cotton buds. Hiding. It's an old man trait. You start blaming people for hiding your shit on you because you're senile and you forget where you fucking put it. Alright, cleaning. Coffee cup's no good to me because it's empty. Is this going to sound amazing, champions? Is it going to be world changing? Is it going to change your life forever? Are you going to go, that's it, I need the Lee Jackson mod in every amp I own? Or are we going to go, what the fuck? Is it going to be a brittle sounding blatty piece of turd? Put in your bets. Let's start a poll. Start a poll. Blatty ass sounding pile of shit. Best amp architect. Sorry, trying to type over an amp. Ever conceived. Damn it! I have to change architecture to circuit. Mod. Alright, let's put in your bets. Come in, spinner! I'm voting for bloody ass sounding piece of shit too. I mean, he's not asking for a mod for no reason. He's not asking for a D mod for no reason. See? Polls, mate. Engagement. I'm a fucking social media king. Can't even get my head in shot. Blatty means like blocking distortion, you know, like horrible breakup, like real gritty, horrible, gated distortion. That's what I mean by blatty. I've always said that. Everyone's just assumed, I've just assumed everyone knows what I said, but I say a lot of dumb shit. People probably have no idea what I'm talking about. Alright, end poll. It's 78%. It's going to sound shit. 22%. Oh, it went 78. 78 to 21. That doesn't add up. Yeah, it's rigged. It's rigged. Just put my component leg spaces over there so I can admit to Michelle that I'm an idiot and I'm sorry. And I love her and I'm going to make her tacos and touch her butt. Because I accused her of losing it. Sort of. Just want to monitor the output stage. Just make sure nothing's going to run away or go crazy. Alright, plate connection, where are you? You've got a shit ton of cables in the way. I think the wiring could do with a clean up too. It's just, you got a lot of stuff bunched together. There you are, pin 3. I'll attach the negative to you because you're the lowest value. I'll attach, where are we? I suppose I should put the balance resistor back on there. The one that just pulled out of its terminal. Bad soldering again. I've had a lot of people criticise my, they called it OCD in soldering, and that I'm wasting clients' money because of my OCD when I could just fix stuff, but you don't know what you're talking about. Sorry, fuck off. You're not qualified to have an opinion. Go away. You're spreading disinformation and I don't like it, so you can fuck off. I think the biggest problem these days, champions, is people that are just blatantly wrong think they still have a right to their opinion. No, you're not allowed to. You're wrong. Your view is not valid because it's wrong. I'm sorry, but when you have a valid opinion, there is a such thing as a valid opinion. It's like you can't say, in my opinion, walruses are part of the bird family. You're just wrong. You're not even in the ballpark of being right, so fuck off. They're the same people that attack Soldier. Yeah, they just feel attacked. Good, they should. Because I am attacking them. With my good soldering technique, they feel threatened by. I'm solder mogging them. Okay. That's not good. That's not good. 10K? What? Standby switch. No, there's something still funny going on. Where are we? So that's the... That's the choke. Should've left you, baby, back in that last town. There's the red. Have we got a blown HT fuse? Exactly, Wes. Attack soldering. In my opinion, they have beaks. See, you getting what I'm saying? Totally. HC fuse is good. Could have just measured it, but I wanted to visually inspect. Oh, I want to check the current rating of that. One amp. Yeah, I'm getting to the impedance selector. Just one moment. Haven't even plugged it in yet. I'm still assessing. Assessing. I'll put the arse in assess. 350 volt bias caps. Okay. Okay. It ain't no fun no more. Don't know what to say. Honeymoon is over, baby. 16 ohms. 29 ohms. So that's curiously double the value. 43 ohms. Okay, so it's not a miswired transformer. We've got a massive imbalance in the output transformer. So I think we might have a bad output transformer. It shouldn't have double the DC resistance on one side than the other. So that ain't great. She's a, looks like a Drake. Not good. G'day, Pastor. G'day, Frankie. How you going, legend? Peter. G'day, everyone that's come in. Sorry, I'm not paying that much attention to the chat today because I'm just trying to figure stuff out. So why are we measuring that massive resistance there unless I'm on the wrong side of the choke? Where's going? Where's who when? Don't go there. I might just pop a little terminal on top of that because I think someone's redone a bit of this stuff. I just want to make sure everything's right. You can't trust anything, you know. We've got some of these things in, you know, the Neutrik silent plugs. Just had a customer request one, so I might give them a run too. They're not cheap, but you know, 30 bucks for a plug, 20 bucks or whatever. But I've got a few extras. I might make one for myself and take it home and have a play with it. Heat shrink. Yeah, gotcha, Wes. I didn't say jack, did I? Plug. All guitarists refer to the output jack as the input jack, and I do ask them just to get their perspective on it. I say, everyone says input jack, but it's the output jack. And they're like, oh, well, that's where you plug your plug into. I'm like, oh, I forgot I'm talking to a guitarist, righto. But they all say it, input jack. On your amp, it's the input jack, not on your guitar, it's the output. The jack is the hole you stick it in. Hey, I don't judge. If his name's Jack, good for Jack. Rightio. $16.14. So what the fuck was I measuring? Wait. 0 ohms? No, that's because I've got the meter attached. 14 ohms. 16 ohms. I measured that before, and it was literally double. It was maybe that soldering connection shit. I measured from there to there, and it was 30 ohms. Now it's 14.5. I measured from there to there, and it was 16. I think I did something stupid with the meters. No, now it's right. Oh, I'm getting confused. I'm completely redoing the basement. I modded back in 2023. Good move. 2022 me did not know how to solder well. That's great that you're improving and you're paying attention to it. It's fantastic. Onward and upward. You always want to improve. Don't be embarrassed by looking at your previous builds, although I'm about to be. Feel proud of yourself for getting better, you know? That's what I reckon anyway. Always want to improve, which means that stuff that we made before isn't going to be as good as what we make now. That's a given. That's a given. You know those things in the jungle? Alright, I'll get real close to it so when it blows up in my face, I'll properly feel the visceral emotions of it. Are we going to go Variac, champions? Or are we too grown up for a Variac? Alright, so I've got the mic on the ET65. I love using Variacs. You never grow up, so whenever I use a Variac, I still think of the scene in Back to the Future, where he's cranking up the volume, but it's just a Variac. The Variac shitbox. Yep, that's the one. Still chooching. Let's turn the impedance switch, sorry, just hardwire it to 16 ohms. I'll see if I can take it apart and, you know, make it trustworthy, but it's probably to the point where we just want to replace it. Let's get some fresh solder on that. The old solder's crusty as. Just flick the switch, mate. Easy for you to say. You're in another state. You won't see the mushroom cloud from there. I finished modding, doing a few tweaks to that amp. By the way, Jace, the customer had a few bright switch mods and stuff he wanted to put in, and he picked it up yesterday. We gave it a tweak last night, and he was 100% happy with it, so he put it back together. I said, look, if you want to tweak that all, just bring it back and we'll fine tune it. But yeah, he was over the moon with it, so that's good. Another happy customer. I'll get rid of the bus wire before I try to use it as solder, which I'm known for. You ever do that, champions? You pick up a roll of bus wire and you're wondering why the solder's not melting because it's sitting next to your roll of solder. Whoops. I'll hardwire that bitch to 16 ohms. Well, that'll do us for now. Have you used solder as bus wire? No, I have not. I did try to when I was younger, but then I realised that that's silly. When I was like, I don't know, 10. You just play with solder. Maybe it's how I am. Maybe it's why I am how I am, because I played with lead as a kid. It will make sense. Alright, go time. Let's get a meter on the B+. Oh, the Viagra Boys new album's being featured. I like it a lot, innit? Right, so from that point, which is the res cap, have we got no balancing? We've got no balancing on the... What? Oh no, that's, yeah, sorry, that's the reservoir cap. Alright, so right here. Dickhead. I am 32 volts. Let's change it to watts because I'm more used to seeing the wattage. 10 watts at 40 volts. Let's just zoom out a bit so you can see the smoke cloud. Get over. Right, so we've got the B plus over here. We've got the primary voltage drop it over the back there. I'll just check that we've got bias supply on the grids. Minus 11 volts. Minus 11. Yep. I'll just give it some signal so we can hear when it's firing up. All Flukes all the time, yeah. I do have my little Fluke 11 there. That was my first meter as a kid. I'm taking care of it. It looks schmick. Looks like new still. Used to have a little zipper bag. I don't know what happened to that. I used to take it to school and play with stuff. Got any activity on the output there yet? No. Starting to move. On one side. Oh, that's scary. I had it sounded like hum. It's sounding like that because I had it set to a silly setting for diagnosing a speaker. Set it to 400 Hertz. So good. Oh, I got some signal there. Bugger all happening on the output stage, so we'll crank her up. We'll hit 300 volts. So rattly. 40 watts. Is this biased super cold? We've got like 400 volts on the plates there, and we're only pulling... What have we got on the grids? Minus 33. We've just got a almost dead set of valves. Oh, we're sitting at 90, about 90 watts from the wall. Let's just have a quick play, see what it sounds like. I'll just mute my mic and just give you the ET65 down in my closed back 2x12 vertical cabinet. Nice compact cabinet I can just shove in a corner where it belongs. So straight away that master is so twitchy. It's you touch it from like the point where it's just barely turning and you go into full scale volume, and that's what happens when you put a fucking another gain stage after the Tone Stack Champions. So I don't know what they were going for with that. That would be slamming the output stage. Anyway, let's just see what the preamp sounds like. Alright, so it sounds boxy, it sounds flubby. Remembering the mid voice, yeah, actually that was, now that you trigger my memory sticks, that was a control on that VL1002, wasn't it? And I didn't do a rebuild of that. I think I just replaced the output board. Because it was all burned up, so we just hardwired the output stage. But that sounds really boxy and really boxy. Did you notice I went like that while I was playing it? It sounded like my ears had popped, like I had gone up an elevator in a skyrise, or you know, gone in an airplane. It felt like my ears were popped because there's nothing happening in the top end. There's nothing happening in the bottom end. It's all just mid. And that master control is unusable. It is so fucking loud. As soon as it engages, it's like a switch. I have no idea what the goal was behind doing that. Let's turn the gain right down and see what the master does. Yeah, that's really honky, and not in the derogatory term for a white man term. Yeah, it sounds horrible. Let's scoop the fuck out of the mids and see what happens then. But yeah, you've either got the master above 0, and then the gain works like a switch between off and too loud, or you've got the gain at a decent level to give some preamp distortion, and then the master works like between off and too loud, like worse than a Hot Rod Deluxe or a Hot Rod DeVille, you know. So yeah, I just got no idea why they put that extra gain stage after the EQ, because that's like literally why you don't do that. Like if any, like the Dirty Shirley's got an attenuator there to make the volume control more usable. Morning, Dad. How you going? Just doing a random live stream. That's the treble all the way up. That is treble and presence all the way up, mid all the way down, bass all the way up. Don't know about the oscillation. I don't think it's oscillating. It just sounds not great. It's got a whole bunch of weird mods in it, and that's what you get. And it's got snubber caps all through the thing, so you're losing all your top end. And yeah, let's have a look at the scope. Just tell that for sure. Alright, standby switch works. Giving it signal. Being attached. Set to 4 ohm. Let's just go to 8. Ah, wrong channel. Cranking the dummy load with no oscillation there to speak of. It's very clean waveform. What are we getting power wise? Right, so we're hitting the wall at 22 volts RMS. Oh, that's a mismatch on the impedance, so let's put it into 16 ohms. Just reconfiguring my load. Just like Metallica is currently doing with their reissue. Ah. Oh, let's try that again. $35 volts. A lot of ripple there. 35 volts. Oh, let's go 1 kilohertz. 1 kilohertz. Yeah, about 35 volts into 16 ohms. 35 squared divided by 16. 76 watts. Okay. I think we might have some tired. Oh, hang on, we're still running at lower voltage, that's why. Just turn that off for a sec and plug into straight into the wall. Now we're happy there's no shorts. Eat my shorts. Ripples and nipples. No nipples because it's not a cathodione. About 40 at pretty significant clipping. So it's bang on 100. Alright, well, it doesn't sound great, but it's not the end of the world. The caps are good, so besides a whole bunch of soldering that I'm not happy with, I want to upgrade the screen grids to 2.2K just in case he's using an attenuator and just to extend the life of the valves. Either repair or replace the impedance selector switch, remove the mods, cap the old hole, and go back to the standard, basically standard 2203 with some added mods. So essentially it's going to be exactly the same as that Laney that you heard the other day. That I was accused of ripping the customer off on, even though they don't know what I charged. I think that Laney sounded really good when it was done. It's not really a Laney anymore, but you know, Laney chassis. Alright, so I'll compile a quote for that. I think those valves are okay, despite being a bit rattly. I'll just let him know that they're a bit rattly, and at the moment they're conducting okay. If he has issues with them in the future, then we can change them out. Right, what else have we got on the dockets? Oh, we've got this fucking beast. Oof! It's gonna be fun. I don't even know how I'm going to test this one. Simple 7-year-old's math. 76 needs a calc. What are you talking about? Who's 76? What are you talking about? Do you remove the tube for shipping? I don't generally ship, but yeah, if I am shipping an amp and it doesn't have retainers, then yeah, I would. Caps. What are you yelling about? You're a poker player, Joy Wazza. I've got a couple of mates that are poker players. Hey guys, just found an immaculate 1985 JCM 800 for 1400 USD. Can't really afford it, but taking everything in me not to get it. 1500. That's like 1400. That's like 2800 ish. Maybe like 2500. Look, the price is okay, James, but I guess they are going up. It'll be like, you'd probably make $1,000 on it if you sold it, but I don't know. You do you, buddy. If you're going to use a 22, is it a JCM 800 2203 though? Or what is it? What model? There's lots of JCM 800s. There's like the Super Bass is the 2205, the 2210 that are worth fuck all. Rightly so. If it's a 2203 or 2204, it's a okay price, but it's not amazing. 2204 50 watt. Yeah, that's probably an average market price, isn't it? I mean, it is good that it's immaculate, but they're going for about $3,000 here, just for your reference. Alright, let's look at this beast. Jesus, can't even lift it. Oof! Variable voltage on screen. Newer ham radio Elmer. Can you just like clarify what you're talking about? Variable voltage on screen. I don't know if that you're talking to someone else. Alright, so we've got a custom made amp. I'll turn this the right way around, yeah. So this was built by a Sydney tech for a customer of mine, and he's brought it around. It's a 3-channel, like 50 watt a channel amp for a wet, dry, wet stereo rig, and one of the channels has ceased functioning. So it's like a that's like a 4-unit rack. 4-unit rack there is separate fuse for each channel. It's got fan force at the side here. So that's the output vent. Pretty small vent for what it's doing, but it is fan forced. At the back there, you got simple, just 3 inputs, 3 different impedance outputs, 1 for each channel. Pretty hectic. So this was made by what's his name? David Peach, I believe, from memory, from what the customer told me. He's a tech that's got a place, I think like Leichhardt somewhere, closer to the city. I can't afford fucking rent in there. I don't know how 6 does it. I said it was a variable voltage, slowly enter voltage. I said it was a variable voltage, slowly enter voltage. Variable voltage on screen. Are you talking about the screen like the computer screen or the screen grids? I've got no idea what you're talking about. I'm very sorry, but I'm sort of trying to keep stuff in context by glancing at the screen all the time, at my monitor all the time, but sometimes I miss critical comments, so you make some of the best amps. Okay. You can spam if you want. Yeah, I'm not... I don't know. I just can't keep track of what's going on, so I don't know what everyone's talking about. Oh, he's talking about the tech in his amps. Right. Okay, I understand. Alright, we've got a stripped off screw. Where was it? No, missing screw. And we've got 3 what looks like maybe classic tone transformers. Marked JMP50. Manufacturer date code 2912. So 2012. We've got 6 mullards in there, EL34s. We've got 2 valves per, 2 preamp, well not preamps, 2 Novel valves per channel. ECC82 for the phase inverter. And I'm assuming an ECC83 input. $7025s on the input there. So I'm guessing they're not just pure power amps, like there is 2 gain stages in front of it. So you're not just going straight into the phase inverter. Looks really well done. Look at the size of the power transformer, eh? You could choke a dozen donkeys on that. Rotary fan, 230 volt, 240 volt. He said the fan's a bit noisy, so he wanted to put a variable voltage on the fan. I said I kind of don't want to, because I want to keep as much air flowing across here as we can, but I'd like to maybe look at options for I'll look up the specs of that fan, because you've got the model number on there, so I can look up the data sheet, and we can see if we can find a quieter one that's got the same or better flow rate, because often some of the ones with the real large axle, you can see down there the blades aren't that big. The axle's really big. Axle foley. So we might be able to find one with the higher flow rates. I don't know, I kind of like the box. Riley? Michelle saw it when it came in. She was here when it arrived. And she said it looks like something out of a science lab, you know, like something out of the 50s, something you'd see on like, in like, not quite Tesla's workshop, but a bit later. But, so yeah, it looks like something out of Doc Brown's workshop. Looks like a electric chair controller or something, you know, like 1, 2, 3, you're dead. See you later. Take it, squeezy legend. There is something rattling around in there. Did something drop out? Was it just a pebble? Solder dag. Alright, let's look at the guts. So the kind of cool thing with this is we can test one channel at a time, because you've got a power switch per channel. I need that on my bench. she's a chunky boy. I don't judge. Looks like something from a rack next to a modern Frankenstein lab. Yeah, it's got this brutalist sort of thing happening, doesn't it? Uh-oh. Is that a customer? You can tell it's a courier because the engine stays running, and then you hear the beep, and then they walk in. G'day, g'day. Hello. How you doing? Yep, no worries. Thank you. Down the bottom? Up the top. Right. Thank you. Have a good one. You too. Alrighty then. Yeah, 4 rack units, Peter. I just read the chat and that guy seemed like a whack job. What? That's not what I fucking ordered. Now I've got to look up them. They've sent me the wrong shit. Now I've got to get on the phone. And I ordered 12 of them. Ordered, shipped 12. You guys serious? Fucking hell. Right, so I ordered a box of 12 of these. 1 packet turns up. They've said they've shipped 12. I ordered 12, they shipped 12. And I ordered 2 sets of Rotosound pure nickel. And it says set. Like, right there, set. PN11 pure nickels electric string set 11 to 48. What do they send? 2 individual strings. NP011. No, PN11, not NP. So Troy, if you're watching, your job has been delayed by an undefined amount. Ah, the joys of working in this trade. They're normally really good with orders. What's going on? Have they got a gas leak? "12 strings not set." No, well that's even a 6-string set. Yeah. So even that doesn't make sense. God damn it. So yeah, that puts a job back that was supposed to get picked up this afternoon. And that company's in Queensland, so it'll be another 4 or 5 day wait before the package gets here. And that's if I ring them like now. Holy! Looking good. Not normally a fan of point to point, but this is pretty well executed. All the components are glued to the thing though, which makes it a bit annoying if you've got to change something, but it should snap off that paint alright. So you got all the box caps and that, they're all glued with, looks like araldite, like epoxy. Even the power resistors are siliconed. That's silicon. I think that's silicon, but I think, yeah, no, they're silicon. All the screen grid resistors are silicon down. Big ass filter caps. Siliconed. BAFCs. So nothing jumping out at me as to why we would have a channel failure. So I guess there's nothing to do but to dive on in, champions, and take some measurements. Some spider webs in here. Have to clean all that out. Oop. Wire snippings. That's what I heard floating around in there, I think, so that could have caused something to go haywire. That's why every time I finish a job, a build or a restoration or even just a simple job, I blast the thing like crazy with compressed air and turn it upside down and blast it over and over and over again for like a good 2 minutes until I'm satisfied that there's nothing floating around in the chassis. Alright, we'll just be able to flick this thing around to get to the controls on the front. I'll just test one at a time. We're on 16 ohms. I'll just change that back over to 8 just to keep it simple and stupid. Is that a breadboard? Yeah, there's a breadboard in the center for the bias supply. But it's like it's... Did he paint it black or... I think he's painted it black. Just like the Stones song. So we've got a 100 microfarad filter there, and then you've got an individual bias supply for each pair. Like, you know, adjustable per pair. Everything's shielded. I like the lacing. $10K grid stoppers on the output. Got a 1 ohm resistor per valve there on the cathodes. Sorry, humans, I'm going quiet while I'm assessing stuff. That's curious. He's got like cable clamps soldered with heat shrink to hold the cables in place, but it's soldered to like the HT bus. Is that the HT? Oh no, that's the ground. What am I looking at? Where's the HT? Oh, the HT's down there. Yeah, sorry, don't mind me. I'm an idiot. 47K plate loads on the PIs. Oh, sorry, I should zoom out so you know what I'm fucking looking at, eh? Camera kung fu. Out the window. More filter caps here. These are the main res caps. They're in parallel. And we got two 470s, two 470s in parallel. There's the bleeders. They're not balancers because they're in parallel, not series. You just got literally a separate HT node branching off to each of the amps for the phase inverter and beyond. So the output transformers there and there. And all the brown leads come over here. They're coming off the standby. Alright, so that's all the center taps. Yeah, it is useful, Alex. This is just a camcorder. It sort of works. It doesn't look fantastic. I was thinking about going back to the Panny Boy. For the overhead. Got a few abandoned instruments here that I've got to send emails to the customers and get them to respond so I can throw them in the bin. Banjo, a 12-string acoustic. But I still have the GH5S Champions. I was going to sell it. I haven't got around to listing it yet because I've got a GH5 now, which I use all the time. The S is optimized for video, but it's also non-stabilized. So although it's a great camera, it's not as good for handheld, which is the majority of the stuff I use when I'm cruising around. See you, Frankie. Go feed the kids. What, they need feeding every day? Fuck that. So I could mount that up there with the 12 to 300. Or whatever it is. 200. 12 to 200. And the only drawback then is I've actually got to manually operate the lens instead of just hit the button like I do with the camcorder. But it would be much higher quality. Nicer colours. I think I might have a customer, Champions. Everyone's trying to give me more repair jobs, despite my best efforts to refuse them. Hey mate.
Yeah, Brad.
How you doing?
Good, I'm Andrew.
Andrew.
Spoke to you about this evil vendor DeVille.
DeVille, yep. Wow. Customer drove all the way from Canberra to drop an amp off. I said, "Are you up this way for work or something?" And he's, "Nah, just come up to give my amp to you to repair." I'm like, "Oh, okay. Must be doing something right, I guess." I just wonder how many techs he passed on the way. But that's a Fender Hot Rod DeVille. I guess we can suss that out. I told him a couple of weeks. I've really got to try and prioritise my jobs, get them in order. I want to start a job register. So literally a book where I just write the job number and the description, the customer name on the list, and just like work the way down the list and have boxes at the end to tick for quoted, invoiced, or picked up, whatever, and work my way down the list a bit more systematically so it's fairer to everyone, because at the moment sometimes it's just head spinning every day. Just, okay, here's an amp, I'll just assess that, whatever's in front of my face. How far is Canberra? It's probably like a 4-hour drive each way, so like pretty much a full day's driving for him. 4 hour, yeah, about that. It's our capital city. It's where all the big dicks hang out. So let's give this thing some juice. See what she does. There, because he made the trip, I gave him a stubby cooler as a consolation prize. Here's a $10 stubby cooler to cover the $100 of petrol and $1,000 of time you just spent to come here. Hey, Dome. Let's try channel A first. Channel A. What are those switches? They are not power switches. I don't know if they're level switches. They're attached to the inputs. Okay, so we've got a main power switch, and then we've got 3 standby switches. That's just very accurate. I had a guy drive 4 hours to buy my JCM 900, really happy that he did. He likes the amps. The only problem is, what happens if you have a problem with the amp and you want to return it? That's what worries me, especially with repairs, because like you could do all this work and you've done an amazing job and it's really good, and then there's just like a crackle in the background that's just like a preamp valve or something, but it's like they don't want to touch it, and there's, oh fuck, what do? You send it back, $100 each way shipping, just to change a preamp valve, or try and talk them through it and watch them bend the pins on it when they insert it and all that kind of stuff. Can be a bit hairy shipping stuff, particularly sales as well, like if you ship them a second-hand amp or something and they're in fucking Perth. That reminds me, I've got to ship a product to Perth. We'll just raw dog it, champions, don't worry about it. Alright, channel A, let's give it some signal. Input. Just crank the input up a bit because we're not dealing with instrument level signal. Jesus, clonk from the transformer, it's like turning a welder on. It is a bit noisy, but it's drawing 120 watts in standby. You've got 6 valves there and a fan as well and all that good stuff. I wanna hold your hands. Okay, that wasn't the one I thought it was. There you go, 475, single channel out of standby. I've got signal. And about 21 volts RMS. Just let that HT drop off. Actually, crank it up while we're doing that. Make it drop off quicker. And 0 volts. On to the next one. $475. We've got the signal there. About the same as the other, 21 volts. So I'm just taking one channel out of standby as I'm testing it, and turning the others off. So it doesn't matter that we've only got a dummy load on one of them, because the others are powered off. $475, yep. We've got signal. So I've got a feeling the customer's got an issue with his setup because he's got a very complex setup. But what I might do is, you know what, I need like 6 Flukes champions to monitor all the channels all the time. What have I got? 5. Damn, one short. I could rig up the HP to measure it on the other bench. So it's 3 separate inputs and 3 separate outputs, Pete. It's a 3-channel amp. So you see you got 3 pairs here. You got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So it's got 3 50-watt power amps in the one unit. And they all appear to be functioning, but it's probably something I want to sustain test to find out if it's fading in and out, and maybe just double check with the customer that it's, because he's got a very complex rack rig, and a lot of people just assume it's the amp's fault when it could be anything in their rig. So nothing immediately wrong with that, but I'll check that out on the other bench where I can spread its legs a bit. And, oh, I shouldn't say that. That's a bit wrong, isn't it? Didn't mean for it to come out like that. Where I can stretch its legs a bit and test it long term, see what's going on, and take some detailed measurements. What else we got? Is that JCM? Oh, that's the TSL. A Necoplex pedal. Apparently dead. Let's suss that out. Is that the Pretenders? I just mentioned the Pretenders before and now they're on the radio. Still trying to find a solid state tech here. No one wants to touch them. Where are you, Joe? Are we live again? We good? I don't know what happened there. The like I say, every time they update OBS, they introduce new and exciting errors. Good on them. Bless their souls. 9 volts, Boss style. 2.1. Chuck it into the HP 6236B. Lights are on. Sorry about that. Works. Dunno, bro. Seems alright to me. I'll never grow up. I've got 2 original Echoplexes here awaiting restoration. And they're mine, all mine. Whatever. Again, could be cables, could be a power supply. A lot of people are very quick to blame the product that they're least likely to take apart. Speaking of delays, got a WEM copycat. Does this lid come off? Yep, sweet. So it's in for resto. Cord's been cut off. It's got some tape down there, but it's probably a bit beyond it. If it's the original stuff. We're very fortunate to have a company in Australia called EcoFix that manufactures all sorts of rollers and replacement retrofit parts that he manufactures from scratch for Echo machines. So if there's anything we need for that, we should be able to get it from them. So that's pretty cool. But having the cord cut off, we have to attach a new one to figure out what's going on with it. But he said do that when I get around to it, and I'm not around to it. Same customer as the Echoplex pedal. He's a delay fiend. But I've got other jobs that are much further behind schedule, which I must get onto, which I'll do soon. So I might go till 11 champions, so that gives us another halfer. Rift Amp channel does a good repair vid on that WEM last week. Oh, did he do one? I missed that. I bought the Fender Harvard back in 1987, just a memory thing when I did play out. So was that the Harvard, the Rivera one? Or that era, anyway. They can go over with that. Because the original Tweed Harvard, big bickies, worth a bit of coin now. Would have been great to be around when everyone thought of the Tweed amps as grandpa's amp. No one wanted them. Everyone wanted hot rodded this or that. Just did a QSC. Didn't do, but assessed a QSC K10. She's got a bad driver, unfortunately, so we'll have to get one of them on order. Anyway, just show and tell. What else we got? Got a dark glass. Got a bunch that I want to make videos on, so I won't show you them yet. Got a Brook NS10, NS12 amp. So there was this guy, I don't know much about him, but there's a guy, Australian bloke, known as Brook Amps. And built power amps for studios. She's got the old JK heatsink on the back. I think it was one of the companies was bringing these heatsinks in because a lot of stuff had them. Playmaster kits and stuff back in the day. Apparently we've got one dead channel. I have quickly inspected it, so I think we can safely fire it up and give it a check over. Fuses are okay. I checked and inspected the ratings of them while the customer was here. Yeah, I might watch that. I like Rift's amp. He's so cheery and happy. I just want to see him rage about something though. Make me feel better about all my raging. He's just such a positive, happy guy. So uncharacteristic for an amp tech. One of the customers, I think it was actually this bloke, was saying that he sought me out because his current tech that he's been using for years is just too grumpy and unpersonable, and I'm like, it's a common thing. I don't know if the personality sort of predisposes grumpy people to being techs, or if being a tech makes you grumpy, I don't know. So, nice and neat and tidy. Did his own circuit board layouts. You can see they're one side etched, kind of old school, but this was built in the 90s, early 90s. And looks almost reminiscent of the silicon chip kits, but except you can see they're not modules because there's a common... Well, actually, that's part of the heatsink, so yeah, they are modules. A lot of the time, those heat sinks will be like just flat, and then you'll have a bit of like heavy, like 10 by 20 by 20 or 10 by 40 by 20 angle, just with heat shrink compound slathered all over it, screwed to the heatsink. But this part is actually integral with the heatsink. You can see it's part of the casting, and they've machined it to a flat surface. You see there the old casting, they sort of casted it oversize and then machined it down so it's a nice flat surface, and that's what all the transistors are mounted on. So you got the good old MJ 15024 and 15025 complementary pair, very old school. It looks very similar, very reminiscent of the silicon chip kits, the SC480 or whatever it's called. 200, 250 watt module, whatever they were. This is probably only a 100 watt a channel with only 2 transistors per channel. Yeah, it's true, Jace. It can be challenging when you're working with someone's pride and joy, their hobby, their love, and for us it's just a job. It can be just a job. I mean, it's a bit like mechanics, I guess, you know. Like Chopper said, he's just another bare bum in the shower. Out there he's the painter and dockers. In here he's just another bare bum in the shower. Visual inspection time. Alright, so we've got 2 fuses, one per speaker output, and then we've got a mains fuse. and they were all intact. We've got a resistor there. Got a 3K resistor. Oh no, that's just powering the indicator. Yeah, which is integral to the switch, so that's just pulling off the AC and limiting the current to the LED. So it could just be something as simple as a cracked solder joint. The caps don't have any like silicon on them, so you can see they're rocking around a bit, which sort of makes them a bit susceptible to cracked joints underneath. Something stabbed the top. Oh fuck, there goes my chopstick. Something stabbed at the top of that cap there, but it's probably fine. Right, so we've got poor Keithy George. Yeah. We've got a ground left switch, 2 inputs up there. Looks like you might have a level, internal level shifting switch. Alright, let's suss it out. Maybe it'll be another case of nothing wrong with the thing. Just run it without a load to start with. You don't have to have a load on a solid state amp. Bang, straight away, drawing inrush went up to 90 watts, and now it's settling down to about 7, which is pretty standard for a solid state thing with all those caps in parallel. Yeah, you notice there's no main sort of filter caps, they're all the rail caps. There's 5 per side, all in parallel. 1000 microfarad. Can't see the voltage rating. 63 volts, so it's probably like plus minus 50 volt rails. Minus 51. Ah, get in there. Plus 51. Scope probe. This is useless heat sinks and the fact they didn't even use thermal paste under it. Yeah. Don't get them started. You had a beer with Uncle Chop Chop in Fitzroy. Well, that's where he's hanging out. Chopper's been dead for 14 years. Fuck, is it that long already? Give it 1 kilohertz. We'll crank the level up a bit because it's the line level. Yep. Oh, that ain't right. Oh, fucking snookering myself again. Forgetting how to use a scope. Jesus. We're getting heavy clipping there, but remember there's no load on this thing, so I'm not hurting anything. Alright, we've got a signal there. Just sync it up with channel 2. Okay, it looks pretty happy, healthy, and Harold. What are we getting up to before we clip? Alright, we're hitting the wall at... Oh, that's on channel 1. Can't measure it. Alright, so we've definitely we've got that channel. Go on to the other one. We've got signal. Just another case of nothing's wrong, champions. Let's see, there could be something going into thermal later on, but another case of nothing wrong. Well, we'll put it on the other bench for long-term test. See how it performs thermally. Could be going in thermal shutdown. There doesn't appear to be any safety circuits. There's no relays or anything on it, but the the biasing transistor in the center of the, I guess you could call it phase inverter, determines the bias of the two output stages. Bias spreader, they call it, and its temperature being dependent on its resistance changes the bias of the output stage. Basically, I don't know. Do you guys know how your typical sort of solid state amps bias? We can do a real quick 5-minute back of the envelope thing if you want. So you know how valves need a negative voltage to hold them back from fucking consuming the world's worth of current? So like on your grid you'll have like minus voltage if the cathodes are at ground potential, but if the cathodes are above ground potential you have 0 volts, and you'll use the voltage on the cathode to determine the biasing voltage. But again, it all goes cathode down here, grid up here, so this negative relative to grid, right? So on a cathode biased amp, the sorry, the other way around. See, I'm really shit at explaining shit. So your cathode voltage has to be higher than your grid voltage, right? So you got a negative voltage with relation to the cathode on the grid of a valve amp. Now changing that voltage relative to the cathode is how you change the operating point of the valve. We're talking static here, so just when it's in quiescent mode. So in a cathode biased amp, your cathode is at a positive voltage, but your grid is at 0 volts. Like you've seen like a 5E3 or whatever, where it's tied to ground via the 220Ks. In a transistor amp, you bias the thing by going slightly above 0 volts. So you want to turn it on a little bit so you don't get crossover distortion. But similar to a valve amp, if you take that voltage too far, the things just conduct themselves to death. So you want, like, depending on the amp, you want like 0.5-ish volts on the base. This is super rough. I'm just explaining. I'm not taking into account any specifics at all. So in a push-pull output stage, you do that because you don't have a balancing transformer on the output. You don't have the output transformer. You basically tie the two bases to each rail via a resistor, and then in the center should be like bang in the middle of those two rails. Not ground, but it should be 0 volts. By putting a resistor between those 2 points, you can spread it a bit so the rails are pulling that away from 0 volts. So you'll have like half a volt or whatever. And by putting a trim pot there as well, now you can adjust the bias to the output stage. I'll see if I can find a quick diagram to explain this. I've got books, but they don't transfer well to online. Actually, you know what? I think I've got that. Designing audio amplifiers. I don't think I downloaded it on this computer though. Reference books. Oh fuck, maybe I did. No. Alright, I'll see if I can just find a basic output stage. Designing power amplifiers. Bias spreader. Bias spreader. The bias spreader. Page 190. Fuck. Could be 100. Oh, that's only the menu. It's only a table of contents. Just trying to find a good, here we go. No. I really should prep for things. Fuck it. Oh, well, here's a very basic. Oh, come on, you just showed me a picture. So you can see here the bias spreader. So you're using the voltage drop of the diodes to separate. So they're attached to the rails. Using the bias, the voltage drop of the diodes to separate these 2 points by a certain voltage above 0 volts. Because if they were attached, you'd be at 0 volts difference. So that makes this slightly positive and that slightly negative. And by changing the voltage there, you change the bias of the output stage. I'll see if they show you. No, we're going into theory of semiconductors. I'll tell you what, I'll do a quick video on it later on, but at the moment, that's the book you want. Designing audio power amplifiers. Sort of, kinda. No. I'll do some prep next time. But yeah, it's not that much dissimilar. I think the thing that freaks people out about solid state is everything's attached to everything. So if something goes wrong, something goes hairy, it throws everything off. You can't just pinpoint it to a separate stage because everything's isolated DC wise by coupling caps. That makes troubleshooting valve amplifiers very easy in a transistor amp because everything's attached to everything. If something goes wrong, all your voltages on that whole side, or if not the whole fucking amp, go out of whack. So it's really hard to pinpoint where things are happening because you can't just take measurements and find stuff in one stage that's out of bias or whatever. That's the biggest difference between valve and solid state stuff. But yeah, anyway, I'll do some groundwork and get back to you on that. As they say in Parliament, I'll take that question on notice. Alright, we'll do a quickie, which I really don't want to do because it's embarrassing. We've got 10 minutes left. So about 8 years ago I built an amp. And it's back, and it's a bit embarrassing. Because straight away, it looks dumb. So, Deluxe Reverb clone. But look how far in I set the fucking front panel. It's like, I don't know what was I thinking? It should be like 5mm back. But it just looks silly. Look at it. It's like you can't see the knobs. And not only that, but the shielding piece I put is actually exposed at the front. But anyway, it is what it is. I will change that. I'll remove the Tilex off the top because we're going to have to relocate the chassis. And see the reverb connectors are hanging out the back. So you can't lay the thing on its back without possibly damaging them, which is dumb. So I'm going to have to plug and re-drill those holes for the chassis. Move the chassis forward about probably like 10mm, maybe 12, maybe 8mm, and then re-drill some holes to pull that flush. And so yeah, that's the first thing I noticed. It's protecting the knobs. Yeah, but if you draw the line up from the side, I think maybe that's what I was thinking. But I probably should have had that angle steeper. I don't. Looks like the right proportions, but you don't lay amps on their face, do you? Ugh. So this was one of those. Oh, the grill's nice and tight. Nice and tight. I think I was already using threaded inserts. All the machine screws. They're all machine screws. Got my leather badge there from back in the day. So I was using these chassis from Soldering, which is a weird name for a company in Thailand that makes reproduction chassis and fiberboards realign the baffle as well. Yeah, I'll have to pack the baffle out to suit the front panel. At the moment, yeah, I'll just put some packers in there, some cleats on the, some packers on the cleats. I'll just machine some out of timber. Might even be able to peel the Tilex off a bit and put it under the Tilex, glue it on, then re-drill the holes. And from the back and front, you won't be able to tell anything happened to it. So, so are we ready to embarrass myself? Yeah, I think that was my thinking, Wes. I'll make it so I can lay it on its face. I'll lay you on your face. So the customer, oh, I'm just going to say it, my mate Mick, another Mick, different Mick to the JMP one, but he specified he wanted a C12R Jensen, which is not my favourite driver, but each to their own. So I was using ceramic sockets back then. Now I use everything Belton. And I only shielded the valves that need shielding, as opposed to shielding them all so they are protected. So just looking at the back, straight away you can see I didn't do the proper fender style back, so I didn't have the cutouts there, you know, the angle bit. And my shielding goes all the way to the back for some stupid reason, so I might pull that out and redo that, because that's silly. Because this thing's got my name on it, so now I want to bring it up to spec. Put a 5U4 in there. I would have put a GZ34 in there, but yeah, I don't know. Like I say, 8 years ago. I've got machine screws there. .4mm truss head stainless. The report in this is the vibrato channel's dropped out, so it could just be a bad valve, but I want to go over a bunch of stuff and bring it up to spec, or up to scratch, up to snuff, whatever, insert word here. So you can see there I was using the shitty ceramic sockets, which I don't use anymore. I should have made them all with a shield integral, just like Fender did. The 6V6s there, they're still the stockies. I was using Electro Harmonics everything back then. There's a JJ's in there, I don't think I put that in. Might have been a replacement. Still got the EH there. Still got the EH there. How's my soldering? Ooh, it doesn't pass through the hole. But other than that, it's alright. So for everyone saying that I'm critical of everyone but myself, I am the one I'm most critical of on the fucking face of the planet, so you can put that to bed. Just take out the recto. And remove the... For some reason I put 2 power clamps. Now I remember when I finished this amp, holy shit, I used machine screws there too. I used machine screws into a threaded insert for the cable clamps. Fuck, that is boutique. Okay, I'm impressed myself with that one. I didn't even drill through the outside of the Tilex. The reverb can stay in there. I'll just use the under tank tester. I wonder what caps I was using back then. And probably back with the Nichicons back then. The VX series. So I'll fix up all that Tilex once I've fixed the position of the baffle and the cabinet and moved everything forward. But I'll rip out that. Because I'll put the shielding over the Tilex, so I've got to rip the shielding off anyway. But I'm making a few other cabinets, so I've got to cut some new shielding anyway. Well, I've got the Festo tool out, the Festo saw with the guide track. I'll cut some new pieces. Oh, the little container of fuses. So, funny story. When I first finished this amp, he'd been playing it for, I don't know, 2 months or something, and he had the whole reason he had it is because he was a rocker. So he always playing Marshalls. He had a 2203 JMP, just like that one we had before, except all stock. Dad actually restored that one before I was full-time working on amps. So yeah, he always had his quad box, his 4x12 and his 2203 on stage, and wearing his sleeveless, ripped-off shirts and real rock star, you know. And then he got a gig doing a Elvis tribute show, and we're talking big dollars here, because like the tribute shows, there can be real money in it, and they play like theatres and stuff, not just pubs. So he got a gig doing that, but he didn't have an amp to cover those sort of sounds. So he wanted me to build him a Deluxe Reverb, and at that point I hadn't built a clone of anything yet. So I sort of did some research and tried to learn as much as I could, but there was a time frame on it as well, so I got moving and finished it off, got it back to him. Well, got it to him because he hadn't had it before, and then he played it on all the rehearsals and all of that for about 2 months, and then came the big night of the premiere show down at Sydney at the Rocks at a place called, is it Robbins Theatre? Pretty prestigious looking, like sort of drama theatre that also did musical acts. And turned the amp on, played the warm-up set, turned it off, and went to play. Well, he just went to try it out or something, and no power. The thing died. And he checked it, it's got a blown fuse. So what I did was, when I was working on the thing, I put a 1 amp fast blow fuse in it, because I didn't have the half amp slow blow that I wanted. So I put that in there for testing and building purposes, and I was going to go back and change it out later. But I never did, so the fast blow fuse was still in there, and I had to drive down at like 6 PM after work to give him the proper fuse. So we're driving through the city at yeah, like peak hour on a Friday to drop off the proper fuse. So me and my mate and Michelle decided to make a day out of it, an afternoon out of it, and we went for Italian afterwards, and then went to a couple of pubs before we came home. So it was overall it was a good night. He couldn't get me a ticket for the show, but because they'd already sold out. But got him back on the road, and it's been fine ever since. And I think I gave him that little box there of spare fuses in case anything went wrong, but nothing's gone wrong since then. I just literally put the wrong fuse in it because I was just using what I had on hand for testing. And it cost me a lot of time, but it was a good day and a good arvo and a good night. Right, so what did I know back then? Probably more than I fucking know now. 8 years ago, champions. Time capsule. Who would have thought back then that I'd end up with a YouTube channel? Jesus, a lot of ground wire there. So I wired the ground like I always do, but I have cable tied HT to mains wiring, which is a no-go if you can avoid it. So I'll change that, I'll fix that. I've also got a humdinger on the heaters, which I'll remove and just install some fusible resistors down here like we should. I've created a ground point with a tag strip, but I don't think I've got a lock washer under that. I've got backup diodes on the rectifier, so I knew about that. I've got cathode resistors, so I think I was too scared to measure the primary voltage across the output transformer at that time. The heater wiring is really tightly twisted, like probably too tight. because that can, when you solder, if you've got a really tight twist there, the wire's under a lot of tension. Jesus, Seth, everything all right? Fucking hell. See you, Wes. See you, Seth. Give him hell, yeah, fucking oath. Private fucking motherfuckers. Where was I? So yeah, I've done a bunch of wiring stuff that I thought was pretty, but looking back, it's not safe, it's not good, it's not compliant. So I'll fix that up. But yeah, if your twist is too tight on the heater, when you actually solder, the core of the wire heats up, and it can, because there's so much tension on the wire, it can melt through the jacket. So you don't want stuff that tight. Gone active to fuse tip, fuse ring to switch, switch to transformer. That's good. 470 ohm screen grids. I'll probably use 1K there these days. We've got a fibre board, which came with the chassis kit. Got Panasonics everywhere. Metal film everything. I think I was a metal film fan at the time. Probably use carbon film for a lot of that these days. Got lock washers and actual standoffs under the board, instead of just squashing the wires underneath. Actually gone, instead of doing the grid stoppers like just twisted together, I've mounted a little tag strip there, and then taken the shielded wire to the grids. So I think I got inspired by the 70s builds that I've seen. Got a little tag strip up the back for taking the reverb transformer wiring. So yeah, not too bad. Not the end of the world. Not great, not terrible. Soldering's okay. Not domed, but that's a bit of a love-hate thing anyway. Got 22 microfarad on the trem driver, so I didn't know about the 4.7K thing there. I think I was still a bit confused about the HT nodes and the grounding and stuff, but I've got the brass plate on the front, so I'll probably just copied Fender. This amp, what grounding scheme you use? I think I just copied Fender probably to the wire there. Yeah, it looks like it. For this one, I looked it up, and the whole thing was $2,000, or like 1,900, including the, like, I made the cabinet from scratch and everything. Yeah, it's still an eyelet board, but it's lifted above the chassis a bit, so it's not squashing all the wires underneath. So yeah, a lot of stuff I'm gonna change just to make it a bit more compliant from a safety point of view, but it's probably functioning fine except for the reported faults, so I'll give it some juice. We'll see what's going on, champions. Just going to plug it straight in, because it's not like he was being careful with it either. It's still mic'd up there with the G12T74 ET65. All right. $50. Coming up, conducting. A bit of hum there. Just a reverb input because we've got nothing plugged into it. Actually, I'll just plug the reverb tank in. Just a test tank I got under the bench. Right, we're drawing 67 watts. Seems a little bit cool. That's the send coil. Just mute my mic. I think we just got a failed pot, champions. Feels good still, but it's one of those burns ones. So maybe it's sometimes if you're a bit rough with the leads, they can loosen their rivets where they sort of rivet to the wafer. I think that might be what's going on. Where's my fucking little blue probe? I had it like 5 minutes ago. What have I done with it? Fuck's sake. Amazing how quick you can lose shit around here. Yeah, mate. Alright. Alright, champions, we've got a loose connection there somewhere, but I'll suss it out. But in the meantime, I've got other shit to do, so I'll leave it here and catch yous around. Have a good one. Thanks for watching. Blah, blah, blah. See you on the next one.